Hello, everybody. What's up? What's up? Good day, good morning, good middle of the night to some of you if you're still awake. Hopefully, everyone is fine and happy and okay in this kind of volatile market, isn't it? Right? Very volatile market, very volatile market. Kind of like it. I kind of like it. I kind of like watching it. I kind of like seeing it from the sidelines, of course. With some shorts on, I was, had took some profits on, the majority of them, but then they bounced, and I moved my stop to break even. So some of them have already stopped out the remaining of the position. Some are close to being stopped out the remaining of the position. Very typical for kind of a first drop of a bull market. Now, the big question, big question, is this a bull market still, or is it a bear market already, right? Very hard question to answer still. Very hard question to answer still. I'll be honest about it. Very honest. My analysis as a model, told you this in the past. But it's kind of reluctant. Bitcoin is reluctant, and there is some possibility that what we have seen in the past few days was transitionary. There is a chance. There is a chance. Look, price action doesn't doesn't lie. Price action doesn't lie. I think I'm jammed. Am I jammed? Like, do you see me more freeze? Hey, seems like I'm freezing a lot, at least from what I'm seeing. At least from what I think I'm seeing, seems like I'm freezing quite a bit. Is that the case? Yeah, I froze. I wonder why. Maybe I need to change my internet, kind of, because I'm looking at the screen and it looks like I have frozen totally. Frozen yogurt. Frozen yogurt. Come on, chat. I want to send him a chat. Say hi. All right, cheater. Hey, say hi. I froze again. What is this? Satanity not giving me a chance to do my live as I should. It's hard to do lives like this one. I'm afraid I'm going to get frozen. Anyways, what I was trying to say is that, yeah, it's not easy to detect just yet if we are really in a bear market already or not. The reality is that we are in a bull market, right? We're not in a bear market. Now, maybe we will have a deeper correction than we might have. I'm sorry. What I'm going to do now is I'm probably to restart this. So please be patient with me. I'm going to get back in like 3-4 minutes. I'm going to restart some things over here, and I'm going to do it again. I'm going to get back to this video, even though maybe now it's good. Maybe now it's good. I don't know. Freezing all the time. It's freezing all the time. I don't like it. Freezing all the time. Can't pass the knowledge over here like this. So what I was trying to say is that we're not in a bear market. We are in a bull market, right? We're in a bull market, 100% within a bull market still, just yet. We might have started a correction within a bull market that might last for longer. Now, if you would have asked me a few weeks ago whether or not any of the narratives, any of the fundamentals of the market have changed? Do we need to reverse? Is there anything in the horizon that should indicate that maybe we need to reverse? I would have said no. Even though there's more pressure in the geopolitical wars and stuff like that, I would say that that is not a sign of pressure just yet. The Kamala, Harris getting stronger, and Trump getting a bit weaker, does that change things? No, because the bull market, right, which started in 2023, did not start because of Kamala Harris. It did not start because of Trump. It did not start because any of these, right? The bull market started, right, just in time because of inflation getting already kind of tamed-ish, because it was early 2023. And because of that, so people knew that eventually there will be some rate cuts around the world and in the United States, and no one was left to sell, right? When there's no one left to sell, let me just share my screen just a little bit so we have something to view and not only me blabbering. So this is BTC, all right? Come on, share the screen. All right, so this is BTC. So over here back then, all right, when we bottomed over here, you see this kind of area over here. This was the bottom, right? Now, I remember asking myself at this part, who is left to sell, right? Mind you that over here we had the Terra Luna break, and over here we had the FTX, debacle. So all these happened, within like the fifth innings of a downtrend of the bear market, right? So after all this happened, we had such a big decline, we had catastrophes within the market. I asked myself, right, who is left to sell at these areas? Because whoever wanted to really sell already sold because of all these issues. Who is left to sell? So the honest answer is that the bull market, which started here, right? This is where the bull market started over here. Started first because of positioning. There was no one else left to sell, and there were only buyers, right? So people start buying over here. And as well, this was January, a new year, right? People came to the new year kind of believing that things are going to get better after they were bad. So we started this bull market, and then we had, over here the bank issues. Do you remember all the banks? The Silvergate and the Silicon Valley banks. And you can see that initially this fell off, but then we went bought. So what I'm trying to say is that we transitioned into the bull market over here after there was no one else left to sell after a big bear market. Now, are we in the same area? Are there no buyers left already? Has everyone that wanted to buy has already bought Bitcoin over here, right? In these levels, or of course in this uptrend? I would argue that not. I would argue no. We did not have everyone that wanted to buy just yet. The contrary, actually, we had sellings, right? We had Germany selling actually Bitcoin, maybe United States selling Bitcoin. People other than that are selling some Bitcoin. We had some people buying ETF and stuff like that. But the reality is that the positioning, right, wasn't extreme just yet. So I would argue that probably we're not in going into a prolonged bear market just yet, right? I would argue we're not going into a prolonged bear market. However, even though the fundamentals are looking more bullish than bearish, I know some people think differently, but that this is my interpretation of things. Even though people are talking about, hey, recession, United States and everything, more unemployment came last Friday, less jobs, that's bad for the United States. Oh my God, recession things, VIX and whatever. I would argue that, no, that's actually a good thing. Because if it's a good thing not for the United States as a country, it's good for the market, all right? Why is it good for the market? Easy, I will tell you. Because if there are issues in the country, all right, which might cause financial hurt to the citizens, all right, let's call it like that, what will happen is there will be a rate cut, right? A real rate cut, and maybe a bigger rate cut than expected. Who knows? The expected rate cut is 25 basis, right? So 0.25%. But who says that there won't be 0.5%, right? And who says, and right now, these are the only two that are really priced in. Who says there won't be 0.75%? So a 75 points basis or basis points. Who knows? And that may change completely everything, because with such a big rate cut and with liquidity overall around the world kind of, on the incline, on the advance higher, or in China, in the United States, with other interest rate cuts in Europe, England, and so on, Canada, Switzerland. So arguably, good things are ahead. Okay, good things are ahead. And with election year usually like historically, it's a bullish thing. So I'm arguing that I don't think we're going to go into a prolonged bear market. I don't think this is going to be something like this, right? That's what I'm trying to say. Some people are calling for a prolonged bear market. I don't think we're there just yet. I don't think so. So I still think we're within a bull market. Now, being within a bull market, what does this mean? Does it mean that we're going to bounce from here? Is this going to be a V bottom? Maybe, right? No crystal ball, I don't know. And by the way, hi to everyone, Chiller. I know you're here. Some other people over here, say hello. Write your questions down. I'm going to answer them hopefully during this live. So this is scenario A. We get a bounce. This is one. Scenario 2, all right, would be something over sort of like this, maybe going all the way to these areas, the 30Ks, right, to create symmetry in the chart, and then go up. Now, it doesn't need to be exactly the 30K. It can be anywhere between, the 30 and the 40K area. Maybe, the retest is going to be just to this area over here and then a bounce, right? These are possibilities. It can happen, right? It can happen. Do the fundamentals suggest this is going to happen? I don't think so, right? I don't think so. Do the narratives? The narratives are the things that pushes, right, the thoughts and actions of all the participants within the market. Do I think the narratives are indicating this is going to happen? No, I don't think the narratives are indicating this. By the way, these are scenario 2 and 3, all right? But I do argue that this price action is odd. Now, sometimes you have odd price actions, all right? Sometimes you can have odd price actions happening without an explanation, or with a very transitionary explanation. And I know you probably saw it on Twitter, right? This is something I didn't know. I saw it on Twitter as well, is that there's something that is called in the trading and investing world a carry trade, right? A carry. This is bad. I'm going to change to carry trade, right? What is a carry trade? A carry trade basically is, and let me enlarge this because maybe you don't see it, maybe it's too small. A carry trade is basically when you use one asset as a base asset and you use it to invest in another asset that gives you higher yield. And the carry trade right now in the past 30 years or something, or at least in the past 3 years mainly, was between the Japan yen and the United States dollar, right? In the yen, right, you had zero interest rate. In the dollar, you had 5.5% interest rate, right? So what do? You take a loan in yen, you move it to dollars, and basically you pay 0% on your loan, but you get 5.5% on your US dollars, right? This is a carry trade, right? Easy. It's kind of big money usually does this, because for small money, this doesn't move the needle. You don't make a lot of money by doing this carry trade. But if you have billions and billions of dollars, so this is good. Imagine having, I don't know, even $1 billion, 5.5% carry trade, that's quite a bit. That's $55 million a year, right? Not too shabby on just money sitting in the money markets, right? So on interest rate, guaranteed money. However, the Japanese, all right, indicated that they are going to, or maybe they already hiked or are going to hike quite soon to 0.25%, right? So, and United States, the probability of the United States to lower rate to 5.25 to 5 or maybe 5.75 has been elevated due to what I told you, the job claims and so on and so forth. So all the billions that have this carry trade now are seeing that the potential of this to unwind is, and to actually lose money, because they're going to need to pay interest over here, they're going to get less interest over here, and they have other costs, of course, of moving money from yen to dollar and so on and so forth. So what happened is this, right? Is that the dollar sold off because people sold the dollar, right? And they sold the dollar for the GPY. This is it. And as you see, the dollar was really weakened against the GPY, meaning the GPY got stronger, right? And stocks, everyone that had money in stocks as well, they sold their stocks. People that had money in crypto sold their crypto, all to get back into their GPY, to the carry trade. So is this the explanation of what happened? Maybe, right? Maybe this is the explanation of what happened, right? So maybe this price action over here, maybe it's a fluke. Maybe it's a one-off. Maybe it's just happened because of what I just explained. However, because I don't understand this fully, for me, I don't know how to trade what I explained. I understand what it means, but for me, I just look on the charts, because for me, if I know how to analyze charts and price action, I'm good. I don't need to understand things fully. I don't need to anticipate what will happen if and what. So I do just look at the charts. And for me, this price action didn't look good. It didn't look good whatsoever, even on this dip. And even more after you had a recovery, which was good, and then another dip. And this is even a stronger dip. This is really a big sell-off day. This wasn't big sell-off day. This was kind of transitionary, just for a couple of weeks and then a bounce. Over here, you really had, just in less than a week, and then yesterday was the peak of it, just a full-blown kind of drop, right? What am I trying to say over here? I'm trying to say is that we might start at a correction because of all this, or which is the scenarios 2 and 3, or this was just a one-off and people are going to understand they made a big mistake. They're going to buy everything back and we're going to have a recovery, fast recovery, which was scenario number 1. Which one will take place? I don't know. Which one will I put my money and bet on? Well, right now I'm betting on continuation to the downside. I have some shorts open with profits. Some are already closed, all right? However, I will see what price action wants to say, right? If price action all of a sudden goes back to these levels and we're above the 60K again, right? And we maintained kind of just a 1 day, 2 days below the 60K again, right? I will entertain that maybe this was just a fluke, just a kind of a, I don't want to call it a black swan, but maybe a gray swan, right? That might have happened and caused all of this, and maybe we're getting back in range, and maybe I will shift my perspective. However, right, for me right now, I'm waiting. If we'll break above the new all-time high, for me, we're going to continuing, and we're continuing the bull market. Until then, we are at a correction and may see lower prices, right? So this was a long 18 minutes almost explanation, with the first 5 minutes being kind of dull just because of freezing and issues. So before I move ahead, I see that we have a question from someone. Let's show it to people. Gary Tacon, thoughts please. Long-term purpose, so please check website also. You know what? It depends how price action looks like, because I don't. What do you care about a website? What do you care about what the website does, right? The website just costs money, right, to create, and that's it. You made a beautiful website. It can be a rug pull and you won't know it, and the website will be beautiful. So who cares about what the website says, right? They can be lying off the top of their ass. And I think I've seen you in one of CM's lives when I was there, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, you asked about Gary. Maybe it wasn't you, but who else would ask about Gary? Look, this is horrendous, right? This is horrendous. This chart is looking awful, bad, really, 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 really bad, right? Really, really bad, right? Really, really bad. I know Gary as well had in the past. I don't remember where. I don't know if it was over here or maybe it was elsewhere. I don't recall exactly. They had a vulnerability. Something happened to their network, right? The devs probably are not accomplished devs. The team probably is not accomplished. Um, Gary was traded in more places. Um, I think maybe not. I remember it was on KuCoin. Maybe maybe it's still at the same location. Maybe it's still the same exchanges. But look, it just doesn't look good. You are in the all-time lows, all right. You are in the all-time lows. This is just for me, for my strategy. My strategy. This is not what I look for, right? Not what I look for. So I can't tell you what to do with this, all right? I don't know if you are holding for I don't know how long. I don't know if you have a big, huge loss because there's no way you are profitable. You are basically in the lowest area, right, of the chart, right? There's no lower, maybe just a bit today, just a few percentage, but there's no lower. So basically, if you're in this, you're at a loss for sure. And maybe you're trying to find ways to kind of tell yourself or ask you kind of give yourself an excuse about why this should be a good continuation of the whole huddle, because you're trying to convince yourself that there's something good about Gary where the chart says there's nothing good. And I will give you something. I will tell you something. The chart isn't just baloney, all right? This is not hocus pocus. The chart represents all the actions of everyone that has ever bought and sold Gary, right? Insiders, people that are in the team, right? You would see their buys and sells in the chart. Investors, if they have any, you would see their buys and sells on the chart as well, right? Speculators, other investors, believers, everyone, doesn't matter who bought or sold, you would see, all right, their actions on the chart, all their actions. So the chart is telling you that whoever made anything usually sold, more selling than buying, a lot more selling than buying, right? A lot more selling than buying. So my suggestion for you, right? My suggestion for you is, right? If you're already holding this, right, you have two options. Either sell and just look for something else because you have opportunity. You have an opportunity cost. You have an opportunity cost holding Gary. So you have money invested in this. If you don't sell it, maybe you can't invest in something that is actually good, right? So me, if I were you, I would sell this shit. Sorry about the wording, but that's true. However, if you're really reluctant about selling, I would put a stop over just below this low of the day. If this goes lower than this, lower than this area, just sell it. Just sell it. Look, this is just, it doesn't have anywhere to go. It's just screaming bad, right? Now, if you're asking me if you should buy it, if you don't have a position or you add on, I would say absolutely not. Absolutely not. Now, does this mean that I am right? Does this mean that maybe that Gary won't go up from here? No, I don't know what Gary will do. I can't. I don't have any vision or clairvoyanting. I just don't know what will happen with Gary. I can tell you that the probabilities of something like this to work strong and move very ferociously is really low and really weak. And me, my view, my philosophy is to find assets that move the most at the shortest amount of time. I will say it again. My philosophy is to find assets that move the most at the shortest amount of time, right? Why? Again, opportunity cost. I want to get in, I want to have huge moves, and I want to get out to the next one. That's me, right? That is me. So you're asking me about long term. I don't know. I don't trade long term. You asked me about Gary. These are my thoughts about Gary. Hopefully, this helped. All right, Chiller. Let's see what Chiller has for us. Chiller, thanks for the thorough walkthrough regarding your take on the Grace one. Are you seeing any potential new trades in the coming days, or is it a waiting game right now? Look, you know what? Stay with me just a little bit, and we're gonna go over some charts. My view is that if you're a swing trader, it's probably a waiting game right now. If you're a swing trader, probably a waiting game right now, maybe just for a couple of days, and then you find an entry or a setup. If you are more of a short-term oriented and you really want in, right? Let's go to Bitcoin for just 1 second. Right, and I was looking at this. Let's say you believe that this was a gray swan and actually we're not going to continue downwards, right? You believe this was a real dip, You believe that for some reason, right? Now you can either wait on the daily to see something, all right, something like this, all right? Let me just paint it. I don't know, maybe something like this. For a few days, creating a platform, and maybe then you have a break from this area, right? You can say, you know what, this is called a pullback buy. Whenever you have a drop and then a bounce and then you have a platform sideways and then a break from that sideways, right? This is a platform, this is a pullback buy, and you can add your position. You can start a position over here, add or start or whatever you want to do, right? That's one way for a swing trader to kind of get back into or buy an asset he believes has continuation on the upside. This is on the daily chart, right? Now, if you're a day trader, for example, or you really want to get in because you believe this is going to bounce today, you believe we're going to above 60 today, you can go to the hourly chart. Now, this is more advanced. I don't think this is something that you should do necessarily, all right? You joined my group, my dear group, yesterday, so you'll be seeing what I do with the group. And if you stay with the group, or maybe even, upgrade, you have more contact with me, you will see that I don't tend to do these types of things, right? Unless in really high momentum environments, right? Really high momentum environments. But this is an idea, all right? This is an idea that some people might utilize. I don't suggest to anyone that is not an experienced day trader to utilize this, right? Right? For example, if you are an experienced day trader and you buy above this kind of platform, as I showed on the daily, but this is the hourly, right? The hourly is completely different than the daily, right? And you buy this, you have a stop below this low and the pivot, and your risk, right? You're risking over here roughly 1.5%, and you know that's your risk. That's it, right? You know that's your risk. You need to start taking profits once we go above 1.5%, 3%. You're taking profits all the way over here because you're really a short-term trader, right? Or maybe you're just a swing trader and saying, you know what, I'm going to try and attempt to take on daily, because on the hourly, because on the daily I don't have an entry. I put the stop at 1.5% and I accept the risk. If it stops me out, so be it, right? These are some of the things that people might be thinking, right, on Bitcoin. However, right, and let's take a look at some of the charts that are right now on my watch list, right? You will see that probably you have no entries, right? Look at this. And bear in mind, again, what I look is for continuation moves that do a VCP, a volatility contraction pattern, and then a breakout, right? If we're talking about longs. So if I draw, so this is a move up, then you have a base, you have a volatility contraction. So each wave is contracted, and then you have a continuation. This is a very basic drawing. We have many different ways to draw this, okay? But this is one, right? And so this means you need at least a few days, maybe a week or two, to create some sort of contraction. It can be very small contraction like this as well. Boom, just one contraction continuation might happen, because within the days we will have kind of a contraction. Okay, so bearing in mind what I just said, looking at the charts, we won't see any, because I don't have any actually on my mind, right? I don't have any on my mind that I've seen. You can see that the biggest gainers for this candle are all mainly the one that was stronger. We all the three top meme coins of kind of the move-ish that we had in the before the drop. We have a DeFi which was strong, the Orca. Everything is just a balance play right now, to be honest. And bounce plays are so risky. Who knows when to buy, right? Note didn't really drop. That's interesting. Note didn't really have a big wick. Really interesting. Let's see. Let's measure the percentage. Yeah, nothing. Look. No, well, mid 20% candle. Yeah, actually, it is quite big. But if you look at the chart itself, it doesn't look like it changed the aesthetics, the configuration, right? It did not change the configuration of the chart, so it's interesting. And note, I know that the probability of this being a good trade later on is going to be high, right? You can see we had big wicks on most things, huge wicks, right? 20, 30% wicks and so on and so forth. So you see, nothing is looking constructive. If you know a little bit of the way I trade, you know that this is the opposite of what I look for. What I look for is continuation to the upside, move up, as I said, then contraction, really tightening of price action, and then a burst above that breakout and a boom, big, 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 big move. And we don't have whatever we have, all the things that we have today, all the things that we have today are just bounce plays, right? Just bounce plays. And the honesty is just bound plays suck. They suck because you don't know where it is, where the bottom is, let's call it. You don't know. Maybe you buy here, maybe buy here, maybe buy here, and you don't know if it's going to continue the day afterwards. Bad strategy for risk management. As I said before, probably, and I do say to my group many times, is that deep buys just have bad risk to reward ratio, and the probability of someone knowing how to do deep buys is just one of the millions. I know just one person that knows how to do deep buys, and even he got clobbered in the past few deep buys, right? Yeah, so I'm not seeing anything constructive. Let's take a look at some of my screeners, right? So my screeners to see if we do have any momentum at all in the market. We have changed current screen. Would I like to save them? No, I don't like to save them. So if I take my momentum screener, for example, we have only 14 names that are working, and one of them that are looking okay, and one of them is ETH short, actually, that is gaining momentum. Let's take a look at all these 14 names. I will add them to the watch list. I will go all the way down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14. All right, so this is it. So look, this coin, I don't even know this coin. Doesn't look good whatsoever. This coin from Mexi, kind of interesting, probably very low volume. Let's see, yeah, less than $500,000 a day on average. Very low volume, but interesting. I wonder if I have it on my Mexi. I don't have it, so I'm going to add it to kind of watch it. Lee, this looks like shit. All right, from Mexi as well. Really low. I'm sorry, I will rephrase. This looks excellent if this was a coin that I know that has real volume. But it says that the volume actually is 1 million, but I don't believe it. I don't believe this is a $1 million volume coin. I think this is just balonies, all right? Maybe I'm wrong. I'm going to add it to MXC and take a deeper look at it. But it's so odd to see something like this. Look, you can just see that something is off. All the candles they had, they're just too symmetrical. This is kind of odd. And sometimes there are scams like that you don't want to be involved with. So you see all the ones that came from the screener, right, that have higher momentum are either very thin, not liquid, or that they just don't have the setup. They don't have a real setup, and the setup is important. I don't just buy things mid-air and say, you know what, let's hope for luck, right? I wait for the setups to materialize, and there aren't any setups right now whatsoever, none. If we go to my focus list, which was made prior to everything, right? And you can see this this topped me out as well. So you see, I took a short yesterday and I took profits into strength, almost went all out because I always take shorts. The first initial shorts, I take between 15 and 20, 25%, the majority of all the profits. But I was stopped out of remaining with the position. So this was stopped out over here. But you can see This is not constructive right now whatsoever. CAS needs to actually reset itself, right? This was a pivot and base failure, and now we need more time. If this will go up eventually, two ways, right? Either we will see a really sharp move up, which in case I will buy the breakout, but I could not put a big position on because the risk is going to be too high over here. Or what will happen is that we are going to get kind of a few games and then maybe a move up and then maybe something like this and then a breakout. And then you can go bigger because the risk is contained within the last pivot, right? So we're going to continue looking at these coins that were the coins that were trying and were attempting to break out to new highs while the market was under pressure. My ETH short is still on, and my WIF short is still on too. My CAS short and my BNX short were both stopped out. You can see BNX really doesn't want to sell, right? Really wants to kind of try and break out. My assumption is that if we will continue higher event, like let's say we do get a recovery actually from here and not a kind of a deeper correction, that BNX will sky high. It's just showing you on the price, look, I just want to go high on the chart. There are more buyers than sellers. Look, even here, this week, just one day below this pivot, and that's it. This is not even a correction over it. This is a shakeout. This was just a shakeout for now. Maybe tomorrow it continues to the downside. We don't know. But because the market is under pressure, of course, right? The market is not good. It's under pressure. You see what's happening in the market. And you know, you don't need to, and I think this is important, you don't need to feel pressure to find new opportunities, right? I think this is more important now. Let's dive into this. I will stop the share screen and I will talk to you guys. So I think this is important, right? I think this is really important. You don't need to feel any pressure right now to do anything, okay? Some people, you're going to see a lot of people saying buy the dip, and you're going to see other people panicking. You're going to see people posting wins. Oh, I made money on shorts. You're going to see people posting huge. I made $1 million on this short. I made $1 million on this bounce, whatever, and blah, 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 and blah, 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 and blah, 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 right? Don't fall prey for these vultures, right? 99% of whoever posts anything, all right, they're untruthful, very bad people, okay? They post like they're winning, but they're not winning, okay? So don't feel pressure, right? Right now, what's happening in the market is just volatility. I know that there is a kind of a phrase that traders thrive on volatility, but I would argue that that's not true, right? Volatility is when you have a lot of buying and selling and buying and selling and buying and selling. That is, right, a choppy environment. That's volatility in my eyes, right? That's volatility. Some traders experienced really fast scalpers maybe can thrive on this, but arguably not. You need to be really good pinpoint, crypto is a 24-hour market as well. It's not like stocks where you have 6 hours of trading. You don't know when it's going to come. It's not easy to scalp in choppy environments in crypto. And I would argue it's so much work for something that you can make the same or much more profits by doing swing trading, which is the same hours of work, but not focused, concentrated work of just watching the screen every goddamn second, right? So don't feel pressure. You can just sit on the sidelines, and that's what differentiates me from many other traders, right? I make money when the money is laying down on the corner of my house and kind of screams to me, hey, Jomo, come and pick me up, make money now. And those are either bull markets when the things are rip-roaring, all right? I make a lot of money on those areas, and I make a lot of money shorting when the markets are really breaking down and continuing to the downside. not just one-time breakdown like we had right now. If we will continue to the downside, we'll probably have setups to the downside, and I will be like a tiger on those shorts, right? But right now, I'm really relaxed. I'm letting all the inexperienced people, or all the people that think that they are pressured into do something, do their thing, and I'm sitting down, protecting my mental capital, protecting my not being exhausted because just being on the market with the volatility, and just saying, waiting for alpha. Alpha, in contrast to volatility, is where I think that traders thrive. Now, I think people mistake volatility to alpha. Alpha means a big move to either up or down. And the alpha, if you are long, and you want to go up. If you're short, you want to go down. That's alpha, right? When assets move strong to a certain sign. It doesn't need to be for months and end. It can be for a week, a month, and that's it, right? I made multiple trades that made me 100 and 200% and more in less than a month, right? That's what I mean about I want to be in the assets that move the most in the shortest amount of time. I'll be honest with you, I don't want to sit for 2 years in something that does 200%. Yes, that's a good strategy, of course, but I would make 200% multiple times already, usually, while that person only made 200% just once, right? So I'll be multiplying and multiplying because I want to be more in the market, and then that's someone that's waiting. That's what lies behind the philosophy of just being in the assets that move the most in the shortest amount of time, and not having that opportunity cost, which I discussed earlier, right? So alpha is where we thrive, and volatility, which is choppiness, is where I just sit on the sidelines, right? Why to chop myself to pieces? I don't see any sense in trying to chop myself to pieces. Will you, if you are one of those people that will try to chop yourself to pieces, every now and then get lucky and catch a nice bounce, all right, and sell exactly before it, reverses? Yeah, of course. Every week there's a winner in the lottery, but the difference is that every week it's a different person. It's not the same person winning the lottery every week. So the same thing over here. Maybe you're gonna get lucky once, but you're not gonna get lucky next week again. Okay, so I do not rely on luck. I rely on an edge in the market and understanding that yes, it's okay to sit out, because when I sit out, I don't lose money. And my number one priority is to protect my capital. My number two priority is to make money. And my number three priority is to make outstanding super performance gains, right? And I do make outstanding super performance gains, but very rarely, just like 1, 2, 3 times a year, sorry. And that's what makes me a person that makes over 100% for years over years, right? I made 100% in 2000, more than 100%, much more actually than 100% in 2023. I made much more than 200%, more than 200% actually in 2022, just shorting, more than 100%. 2021, amazing. 2020, amazing. 2019 was not a good year, and I was hacked as well. But you see what I'm trying to say? In 2017, of course, multiples, right? And so you can make a lot of money even with being out of the market for a long time, right? And I do sit out of the markets for quite a while. So I hope this answers your question, Chiller, right? And not only answers your question, kind of gives you a sneak peek into my philosophy, right? Some people come to my trading service, right, to my group, and they want constant action, right? They want constant action. And they always ask me, why don't I put more trades, more and more trades? And my response is, yeah, I can put more trades, but you will probably lose money. Do you want me to put more trades, even if that means you will lose money? And then they're like, no, but they still leave the group eventually because they are addicted to the action, even though they understand that the action, probably the probability of just being addicted to the action, it will make them lose money over time. And I know other groups that post much more than I do, just because they want to feed kind of the people, right? They want to feed the people, and they lose money consistently, right? And for their people. Very randomly, they make them money. Sometimes they make them big money, and that sometime making big money is enough for the people in the group that they believe that they will eventually make money. For me, I make big money for my people with them together, but then I don't lose on stupid, choppy markets. And that's the difference. And it reminds me of an experiment that was once made on monkeys, right? So they had three different groups of monkeys, and from one group of monkeys, they wanted them all to learn how to do something. So for one group of monkeys, they didn't give them any food if they did something correctly. No reward of food. So they didn't learn how to do it correctly. Another group, each time they did something correctly, they gave them food 100% of the times. Perfect. So this group, they learned how to improve. But there was a third group that sometimes they got food as a reward and sometimes they didn't get the food as a reward. And that group not only learned but became addicted, right? They became so addicted that they tried to do the thing without even the researchers trying to tell them to do it, right? They got more addicted than the group that actually got the food each and every time, right? So understand, the group of monkeys that got randomly a reward got more addicted to the process than the group that got 100% of the times a reward. And that's why people get addicted to gambling, because in gambling, sometimes you win, mostly you lose, but those instances where you win get you hooked. So the same things in other groups. People are hooked in those small instances of big money or good money, while in the rest of the 90% they lose money and bleed. Me, sit out. It's a skill to just learn and sit on your butt. Don't do anything. Sit on your hands. Don't, just sleep all day, of course. Go over your trades, do post analysis, ask yourself questions. All my good trades, what do they have in common? Maybe you find something in common to all the good trades and then you do it more. Maybe you find in all the good trades that if you would have held them longer, instead of selling them, you would have made more money. And then you create a new rule that you don't sell into strength. Maybe you backstop some of it, trailing stop with a moving average or whatever. Maybe you take only losing trade and you ask yourself, all right, what's common within all these trades? And then you find something that you repeatedly do that makes you lose money and you stop doing it. That's how you improve upon your own trading, right? Not only you read books, of course, read books. Not only you do courses, maybe you do courses. Not only you do the trades and just forget about them, but you learn from your own trades by doing this. Maybe you go over your journal. You read your journal from the past 3-4 months. You should do it each quarter if you can, or at least each 6 months. Read your journal and find out what things you have said to yourself repeatedly that maybe you need to sit down and think of, right? And learn from it and understand you can always be improving. So what I do in the times where I sit on my hands, meaning I don't trade, is I try to improve myself. Those are the time I try to improve myself the most. At the times where trading is really working, I don't have time for that. I just want to be trading. I want to be making money, right? So that's just me. That's my MO, my modus operandi. That's basically how I think. And that's why I really believe in sitting on hands, improving in those areas. And once setups come again, you take them, you blast with them, and you don't need to be addicted to the action. When people will stop being addicted to the action and start understanding that making money is what's important, they will understand my priorities. First, preserve your capital. Second, make money, and only third, make outperformance gains. If you do that, then you will protect your downside at all times. Then the upside will take care of itself. That's how it works. All right, everyone. I don't see any more questions. I hope that you enjoyed today's live. I enjoyed it. Probably see you tomorrow. Until next time, no edge, no trade. If you want to join the group, check in the description, check the link, join. We have a free